Hi, my name is Katie. I'm a codependent, sex, love, fantasy, relationship, sugar, flower, alcohol, and drug addict.
Hey, Katie.
Hi. I'm studying to be a professor of neuro-linguistic, systematic, and philosophic approaches to socioeconomic interpretations of being. Yeah. It was an elective I picked up in community college, and it just stuck. Who knew? So as such, I do tend to like to define my terms, okay? So for tonight, for example, when I use the word God, okay, let's go ahead and define that term now communally, okay? So when I use the word God tonight, what I am referring to, and this should be relatively obvious, but what I am referring to is, of course, you know, that which sources, loves, guides, and protects us all, and which is located both at the highest and deepest levels of consciousness, and then far, far beyond any of that which we could ever express within the limits and confines of human language, right? Right, clearly, that's what we mean when we use the word God, right? We're not, when we use the word God tonight, we are not, of course, referring to, you know, the anthropomorphized, you know, patriarchal image of a staff-wielding, penis-centric man on a throne with a long white beard that exists out there in the religious and cultural zeitgeist, okay? That is not the God we are referring to, okay? Good? So we're all on the same page? Nobody's triggered or conflicted? Fantastic. Let's move on.
Sabira is my Sufi name. I practice Sufism. My dad is a Russian Jew. My mom is Irish Catholic. I'm a Sufi. So that makes me a Jew-fi-colic.
I definitely feel more Jewish than anything, though. I've always felt more Jewish. Than I sort of sound Jewish, I talk Jewish, I act Jewish. But my Jewish friends get on me about it. They're like, Sabira, you can't go around saying you're Jewish to people, because you're not. Because to be technically Jewish, you got to have the Judaism on your mom's side. But my Judaism's on my dad's side, so I'm not Jewish. I'm just Jew-ish.
I'm a Sufi. It's a mystical path. I also dabble in another mystical path. It's called alcoholism. I mentioned that my dad was an alcoholic. Maybe I mentioned that. If not, here it is again for the first time. My dad's an alcoholic. I grew up in an alcoholic house. I don't know about you guys. I get a little frustrated because I don't like how in America everybody's always talking about all the bad things about being raised by an alcoholic. So bad. It's all these bad things about being raised by an alcoholic. Nobody ever talks about the good things. Nobody ever talks about the good. Like, okay, I don't know about you guys, okay, but for me, in my childhood, at one point or another, all of my childhood friends got to see my dad's testicles. They all got to see them. I don't know what it is. It's something about the combination of, you know, doing tequila shots and passing out on the patio in your 1980s runner shorts. That makes testicles just fucking head for daylight. Head for daylight. Look around. Coming to see the sun.
There seems to me to be a camp of men. Not all men. There's nobody in this room, of course. There's a camp of men who seem to think all women want in a dude is a huge cock. That's all we want. We want a huge cock. We want a huge cock. We want you to come over. We want you to manhandle us. We want you to take us by the hair and just walk us over with it. And that's true.
Like with a one-night stand, like I can't do them anymore. But I've done them before, and I can't anymore. But I miss them a little bit. I miss them a little because I miss the idea of them. You know what I mean? Because like in a one-night stand, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? We don't have to like talk later and like have feelings. You know, and like look each other in the eye and share how we felt when you said what I said, how you felt, how I heard what you said. We're gonna set time aside. We're gonna process and feel. Feel and process. Together as a team. You don't have to do that with a one-night stand. No, man, I did some crazy shit with one-night stands because you could. There's no consequences. You can do whatever the fuck you want. What? You want to put cheese doodles in my asshole? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, I don't care. What do I care? Get them in there. bring them in. Hey, you know what? As long as I never see you two again, you can light my vagina on fire. I don't care. Any food addicts in the room who are willing to admit it publicly? Any food issues? Any women with food issues in America? Women with issues? Thank you, one honest person. Food addiction's rough. I hate food addiction. You know why? There's nothing fucking sexy about food addiction. It's not sexy. It's not a sexy disease. At least with alcohol and drug addiction, when you're in your disease, you're sexy. You know what I mean? You're wearing a leather skirt. You're on the bar, you're dancing, you're buying people drinks, you're sexy. You're on some guy's bike, you got a vest on with a nipple showing, the wind is blowing, you're a badass. The sexiest it gets as a food addict is me alone in line at 7-Eleven at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to come up with a lie to tell the fucking cashier.
Oh, hi, yes. Okay, let's see. That's 6, 7, 8, 9 donuts. Gotta get one for Jenny. Jenny likes the cream-filled ones. Do you have any cream-filled ones for Jenny? Gotta get a cream-filled one for Jenny. Jenny gets very angry without her cream. Just another one. Maybe 3 of those for Jenny. She's demanding. Jenny.
There's no Jenny. There's no Jenny. That's demoralizing. You know what I mean? Another thing I hate about food addiction is my first emotional response to every feeling I have, my first reaction to any experience in life, any thought I have, my emotional response first is a food thought. I miss my boyfriend, oatmeal. I hate that woman, granola. I'm tired, coffee, I'm hyper, bread. The only time I don't know what I want is when I'm actually fucking hungry. Then it's like,
I don't know what I want. We don't have anything.
The other thing with food addiction that sucks is I always have to be prepared for the likely event that you guys won't have the food I need at your party. Whatever party you're having, you're not gonna have the food I need. You're not gonna have it. You mean well, but you're not gonna have it. So I, a grown-ass adult woman, carry Tupperware with food in it a lot of places. I bring food in Tupperware to grown-up ass adult parties. And people are always saying things to me like, Sabira, why do you have food here? It's a party! There's tons of food here! And I'm always like, yeah, your food is heroin for me, so back off, let me eat my kale chips, bitch. And those people, you guys, they mean well. People mean well, and they always say things that mean well. They say things like this, too. People love to say this one. They mean very well. They love to say it. Oh, my God, Sabira, you're so good. You're so good. You brought your food to a party. You're so good. You're so good. I'm always like, yeah, I'm not good. I'm desperate. Only a desperate freak woman is gonna bring sausage and beets to a birthday party for a 9-year-old at a skating rink. For me, the hardest thing that I had to deal with is when I started to look at my relationship stuff, my sex and love issues. Very, very painful, very deep-rooted, sick, yucky, painful stuff. I used to sleep with dudes I didn't even like. I didn't even like them a little bit. In fact, I had to not like you some in order to sleep with you. I'd be like, you make me sick, John. I'll see you at 11. And I thought, when I gave that up, I thought I'd feel free. You know what I mean? I thought I'd be liberated. Yay, I'm free! I don't sleep with yucky dudes anymore. I was not. I was panicked. I was very panicked. I was like, where'd all the disgusting guys go? Who's gonna leave my towel smelling like pee? It's okay. It's okay. I'm better now. But you know, the sex and love stuff was really the stuff that forced me to get very spiritual. That's what really got me on the spiritual path. I got very serious about my spirituality when I was dealing with that stuff. Because for me, there was nothing that was working. The therapy wasn't doing it, EMDR, EFT, NFT, NPR, nothing was working.
And I think it's interesting, like, I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but it's interesting walking on one spiritual path for a while. Because I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you get really good on your spiritual path, you've been walking one spiritual path for a while, you get really good at developing your inner life. Not so good at the marketable skills. I was on a job interview a few months ago, and the guy looking to hire me was like, "It's nice to meet you. You seem like a very nice person. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your strengths?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, that's cool, my strengths. Okay, I am really good at praying, and dissolving my sense of self into the unity and oneness that connects all sentient and non-sentient beings, objects, and spaces." Excel? No, I can't use Excel. I had a temp boss once, a few years ago. I was living in Oakland. I had a temp boss, and he was a really spiritual dude, and he was on a spiritual path, and he told me one day that his spiritual teacher was an enlightened being, which I thought was really interesting. So I pursued it, and I asked him, I said, "Well, that's amazing. How do you know she's enlightened? That's incredible. How do you know? How can you tell? How do you know she's enlightened?" And he says to me, just like this. He goes like this. He goes, "You see, Sabira, the fact that you asked that question really just shows where you are on the path." What a douchebag. That's not a helpful fucking answer to my question. It's not even a hint. You know what I mean? I want to use that logic in other parts of my life. Sabira, it's the 5th of the month. Do you have the rent? You see, landlord, the fact that you asked that question really just shows where you are on the path. Namaste.
You guys know New Thoughtism? It's kind of like science of mind, New Thought. Like it's very like, you know,
Our thoughts become reality. What we think is what is. The only hell is the hell right here, between my ears. It all starts in my mind. I think it becomes a thing. Thoughts are things. Things are thoughts. It's one.
I go to those churches. I believe I mean, it's important what we think or whatever, but sometimes I get a little agitated with that whole world. Because I think sometimes New Thought people can be very like anal and intense and neurotic about their new thinking. And those people, sometimes what I also don't like about it is they will sometimes like use their new thoughts to beat up their old thoughts. Do you know what I'm saying? Like New Thought people will do this.
Oh my gosh, I'm so broke right now. Oh my God, I'm in my poverty consciousness. Cancel! Cancel! I'm abundant! I'm abundant!
I don't know about you guys, if I hit my old thoughts over the head with my new thoughts, it doesn't change them, it just pisses them off. But it's interesting because, like in my experience, when I have a negative thought, it's because some part of me in here is vulnerable or wounded or there's an issue here, right? So I think it's interesting that we think that we could yell at a scared part of ourselves from our thoughts and that would have a positive effect. If I yell meanly at my vulnerability, that's gonna help me change? I don't get it. It's like this. I was on a plane recently and I was sitting between a young couple. I was sitting next to a young couple. I was on a plane next to a young couple. They had a crying baby, infant baby, between them. The baby's screaming the whole flight. Not a happy baby. It's a baby on a flight screaming. That's what babies do. The dad spends the whole flight doing this. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! As if the baby's gonna go, oh my gosh, I was being self-centered. I'm so sorry. I apologize sincerely. Thank you kindly for the stern reminder. It's a baby. He's gonna cry. That's what babies do. That pissed me off so much. That guy was such a jerk. I was so pissed at that guy at a certain point. I was like, sir, you need to stop yelling at your baby. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Like, there's a place in the world, maybe some of you have been there, where there's a whole lot of spiritual righteousness. It's called Marin County. Maybe some of you have heard of it. Yeah. There's a lot of very beautiful, very tall, very white, very wealthy, dreadlocked, hemp-wearing, beautiful people. And they're all a little bit spiritually righteous for my tastes. There's a coffee shop I go to in Fairfax, California, where I like to write jokes and write things, or whatever I'm writing. And sometimes I'll sit there for long periods of time, 6, 7, 8 hours. And all day long I watch these people come in and out of this coffee shop. And I feel like I'm watching the same family breeze in and out of the coffee shop all fucking day. Because they're all kind of the same white, upper middle class, bougie, dreadlock, hemp-wearing, hippie-ish, but with money, people breezing in and out of the coffee. In no particular rush, just breezing in. Just breezing away. And they all order the same thing. Yes, I'm just gonna have a mate. Yes, these are my 3 kids. Caleb, Brand, and Wind. Yes, they're all homeschooled. And I knitted all of their sweaters by hand with homespun hypoallergenic wool that we sheared off of one of our sheep after saving him from a sheep fire at a nearby pesticide-free farm. Which is when I get cranky. I'm always like, who are these fucking people and why do they have so much fucking free time? Breezing in and out of my coffee shop. I'm writing hate jokes about them in the corner. What are they doing for America? Breezing around. And these are also all the people too who like to tell you how okay they are with your feelings.
You know, Sabira, I notice you're experiencing some anger right now. I just want you to know, I'm okay with that. You can have your anger in my presence. I'm okay with that.
Because I don't know about you guys, but if I'm announcing I'm okay with something, I'm not! I'm not okay. If I'm announcing it, I'm not okay. There's all kinds of shit I'm okay with, you guys. Guess what? You don't know about it. Why? Because I haven't told you, because I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with crossing guards. I'm okay with them. I do not approach them and announce my okayness.
You know, crossing guard, I'm really okay. With you facilitating the crossing of this road for these other humans, I'm okay with that.
I don't have to tell them. Because I'm okay. But I think it's difficult when you've had a lot of therapy and spiritual stuff, and all your friends have had a lot of therapy and spiritual stuff, because now you can never just have a normal fucking argument anymore. Do you know what like now everything's very healthy, cerebral, and detached.
You know, Katie, when you said what you said about my sweater, I felt really disempowered and not acknowledged.
Wow, I really didn't mean to disempower you. I mean, not that I have the power to disempower you. But if anything I said implied in some way that I think that I possess that power,
I want to own that and release it.
Wow, thank you so much. You know, because what I'm hearing you say
is that when I said that what you said made me feel disempowered, what you heard was that I think that you have the power to disempower me. But what I meant was that in the future, maybe if you have a thing to say about my sweater, maybe you could phrase it in the form of a question.
Which is when I'm like edgy about it, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, can we just have a normal fucking fight? Your sweater's ugly, fuck you, cunt bitch, we're done. justifiably angry for a second. You know, just for a fucking second.
But no, I'm spiritual now, so I can't have anger. No, because we've all spiritual people, we've all learned that anger covers vulnerability, sadness, fear, shame. Can't have anger, it's a cover, it's a lie, it's an illusion.
And I hate that because it's bullshit. Because spiritual people get angry. Human beings get angry. It doesn't matter if you have a spiritual life, you get angry. But it's true, their point is valid because you see this in nature. You see it in nature all the time. Like when nature creates something soft or squishy or vulnerable, it creates something protective to put around it, like horns or quills or spikes, you know what I mean? Like a porcupine or a pufferfish or Kirstie Alley.
I also think it's funny when people who are new to spirituality like over-apply spiritual isms to really inane shit that doesn't need spirituality on it. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing there, John? Ah! Making an enchilada, God willing. Really? You're gonna put the God willing on your enchilada making? Well, you never know, Sabira, you never do. Hey, maybe the microwave blows up while I'm making this enchilada. Maybe I lose an eye in the incident. Maybe that opens my heart to the suffering of others. I become a male nurse at a children's hospital, you never know. Which is the kind of thing I like to respond to with my favorite spiritual phrase-ism that I learned in my early sobriety. You know what, John? You may be right. I love you may be right. It's so good. You may be right. It's very middle of the road. You know what I mean? Because with you may be right, you can get away with anything. With you may be right, you're not saying, you know what, John? You're a dumbass. You're also not agreeing with something. You may be right. It may be the truth. It may not be. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. Either way, it may be true. It's right in the middle. I like that. When I first learned it, though, in early sobriety, I liked it so much, I used it all the time. But like in places where it didn't make any sense, because I didn't really get it in the beginning. Would you like fries with that? You know what? You may be right. Think about it. Make any sense? That'll be $20. Your movie's down the hall. You know what? You may be right. You may be. You would know, being that you work here. So we get sober, we stick around. A lot of us get very creative. We stick around, we deal with spirituality, we heal a lot of other stuff, we get our creativity back. We're very creative people. Creative. We like to make stuff. All humans do. People like to make things. It's the nature of being a human. I think we're supposed to do stuff, make things, create life, create things. I think the hardest thing about being a creative entity, being a creative individual, is the gap between what I can envision is possible for my life over here and where I'm standing now. Right? That gap is a pain in the ass. Nobody likes the gap. You know what I mean? Like, okay, the other night I was on the phone with a girlfriend and we were reviewing our visions. We were talking about our visions for our lives. We had visions. We were sharing. Mine was very big. Mine was enormous. I was like, yes! I've moved to LA. I have new pictures. I have new representation. I'm going to tour the world. I'm going to do TV and film. I'm going to write and perform. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to save all the poor people. What am I doing now? Well, I'm washing the period stain out of my underwear. That's the gap. And I would like to leave the stand-up comedy portion of tonight's event with this very deep thought. I'd like to leave you with this thought. I think it's a shame how hard we all are on ourselves about our creative endeavors. It's a real shame how hard we all are, because I promise you, everyone in this room, the world at large is vastly more forgiving of us about our creative endeavors than we are. Right? We've always got a thing. There's always something. I'm too fat, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too tall, I'm too short, too much education, not enough education, no money, too much time, not enough time, tired, hungry, hyper. There's always a reason we can't do things, right? We can't make things. We're so worried, we're so paranoid. But the world at large is vastly more forgiving of us on our creative endeavors than we are. Case in point, Lady Gaga, who I love, is making $1 gazillion a minute with the following song lyric. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. I think we can all give ourselves a little break.